trouble sleeping last night.
Oh.
You know, it's hard to get up whenever you do that.
Well, I'm just so happy to sleep.
I know, but it's always like when it's time to get up, you sleep the best.
You're right.
I know.
Yes.
And that's what happened to me today. I was like,
I know.
So, we are here. It is Friday morning, the 5th of February. Sorry I'm a little bit late coming on line. I'd be even later if it wasn't for my friends. So, take your time and get comfortable. So, if you're at home, you need to grab blankets too. I don't plan to use a strap today. So, just really start to get easy in your hips and let yourself release here now into your breath. So, closing your eyes gently and starting to receive your breath in and out. Don't force it. Just let yourself easily feel the breath coming into your belly. And on your next exhale, let your hands come gently to meet there in front of your chest, in front of your heart. And on your next inhale, let the hands rise up through the midline, only as high as your shoulders allow you to go. And when you exhale, just keep them together and let them come right back down to be in front of your chest. So starting to just move with your breath, just letting yourself feel the arms, the hands, the shoulders, as you inhale the hands up and exhale them back down at your own rate of breathing. And the next time the hands come down to be in front of your chest, let them stay. And now let's inhale the hands over towards in front of your left shoulder, up and over, like you're going on a Ferris wheel, all the way up and over the top, and then down the other side as you exhale. So you inhale the hands to the side, up and over the top, and exhale as they come down. So just again, moving with your breath. Warming up the shoulders here. Let it feel really easy. So don't force it. And then the next time you get to the bottom, hands to the chest, reverse those circles. So just letting yourself go the other way. And then the next time that the hands end up back again, down in front of your chest, let them stay there. And then let's interlace our fingers and start to press our palms out away from the chest. So pressing into the heels of your hands. And as you inhale, rising the hands and the arms on up. Again, you follow your shoulders. Arms can stay forward, or you can bring your hands directly overhead. And then just come over to the left a little bit. Press a little bit more up into the heel of your right hand. Feel your right sitting bone drawing downward towards the ground. And then come on back up to the top, and we'll go the other way. Pressing into the heel of the hand, feeling that sit bone drawing downward, opening up through the side body. And then we'll come on back up to the top. And we're going to release our arms on down beside us here now. Clasp your hands behind you, keeping a nice long back as you exhale. exhale, come forward. Flex your feet if you're cross-legged and press into the outside edges of your feet. And now on your next inhale, rise back up. So let's come forward and back a little bit with the breath here, letting your exhalations bring you forward and your inhales bring you back up. So you may go just a little ways, you may decide you want to go farther, it's up to you. And then the next time that you do get forward, see if you can stay there. You may decide you want to fold a little bit more over your legs, or you may not. That's up to you. Some of you might feel good to bring your arms off your back. That is, again, up to you and your shoulders. And then we're going to release, bringing ourselves all the way on back up again. And we are going to switch the cross of the legs if we were cross-legged. So if you need to stretch your legs out in between sides, do. And once you get comfortable in your cross-legged position there, bring your hands again to clasp your hands behind you. And flex the feet. Press into the outside edges of the feet as you exhale your way forward and inhale your way back up. So again, just moving with the breath. Let it feel really good to keep that length of your spine. Just feeling the breath move the body, connecting your movement to your breath. And again, the next time that you get all the way forward as far as you want to go, you can stay right there. You can let your arms come off your back. You may decide you want to continue folding forward a little bit. Really up to you. You know that. Pay attention to your own back. And then we're going to rise all the way on back up to sitting. Release your arms on out beside you here now. Let your hands circle around a little bit. Reverse and go the other way. And then just let your fingertips come down, lightly touching the ground. Inhaling here. And on the exhale, we're going to twist to our right, bringing our left hand around, maybe to your right knee, maybe to the midline. That's up to you. Just enjoy feeling that twist in the middle of the back. Whether you turn to look more behind yourself or not is up to you. One more inhale. And on the exhale, come on back around through center and all the way into the other direction. So again, let your gaze be where it's comfortable there. And if you're like, it feels good to look a little more behind, go right ahead and look back towards the wall behind you a little bit more if you can. So one more inhale. And on your exhale, use your belly to bring yourself on back around. Let's stretch our legs out in front of us here now. And bring your hands behind you, either staying up on fingertips if you want, or going ahead and coming onto the palms and releasing down fully into your hands. But that's up to you. Draw your chest forward. And if you're able to look up a little bit, do. Maybe you feel like you really like to let your head come back and look up. If that bothers your neck, just don't do it. Just be mindful. Feel the heels on the ground. Feel the legs engaging as you draw your heels back towards you just a little bit. Nice. And then we'll come on, back up, and shake everything out just a little bit before we come around towards our hands and knees. So if you know you want a blanket, grab a blanket for wherever you need it. Under your knees, under your hands. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Shift your hips around a little bit. Get yourself easy here. And then send your right foot back behind you on the floor. Curl your toes under. Press into your heel. Really opening up the back of that leg. Now zip up your belly. And then think about, as you float that right leg up, and you think of extending your left arm forward, think about using your belly like you're drawing your hip pointer bones towards each other. And the pinky toe of that right foot faces down. And then we'll bring the hand back down and the knee back down. And we're going to send the left foot on the floor behind us at first, curling the toes under and opening up the back of the leg. So really enjoy And then again, as you start to think of rising that left leg up and releasing the right arm forward if you can, think of drawing your hip pointer bones towards each other. And then we'll bring the hand on back down and the knee on back down and get yourself into your cat pose here. Really feeling the tailbone release down. And on your next inhale, go ahead and send your tailbone back and up and move back through into your cow. And then moving at your own tempo again, at your own pace, right? Remember, there's like nothing wrong with breathing the opposite of what used to be traditional, right? So usually we exhale as we draw the navel towards the spine and come into the cat pose. And inhale when we move back through to cow. But if you do the opposite, sometimes it's kind of cool because it makes it feel differently. Good. Finish off the one you're on. And we'll come on back to just a more neutral spine, looking down between our hands. And let's come down onto our left forearm, parallel to the front edge of the mat. Reach your right arm forward like you're doing down dog. And then bring your forehead down onto your left forearm. Spread both of your hands. Really spread your fingers. Press down into the hands a little bit. Press into that left forearm and that right hand. And then hug your right elbow inward a little bit. And then imagine your heart melting down towards the ground. And then bring the right hand back and press your way up so that we can switch sides easily. So the right forearm parallel to the front edge, reaching that left arm overhead, and then bringing your head down. Spread your fingers. Press into that left hand. Hug your left elbow inward a little bit. Press into that forearm. Let your heart melt down. Just enjoy this little quarter down dog. Good. And then bring the left hand back so that we can press up again. And from here, you might want your blocks. We're going to step our left foot forward and come into lunge. And first, leave your right knee down for a second. And shift your hips forward a little bit. Press into the top of the toes. And then see if you can curl your toes under. Stay there for a second with the back knee down. And then when you're ready to lift up, adjust however you need to come into that lunge. Press the feet gently away from each other. Just enjoy, find length now. So maybe look just a little forward of the front of your mat so you bring your head into line. Good. And now to switch, bring that left foot back, bring the right foot forward, and then lower that left knee down. At first, come to the tops of your toes. Press gently into the top of the left toes and let yourself shift your hips forward, open up through the front of the hip there. And then see if you can curl the toes under. If you have to shift back a little bit to curl those toes under, do. So wake up the bottom of the foot. Now when you get ready to lift that knee up, use whatever support you need to help you getting on up into your lunge with the back knee off the floor. And again, bring your gaze just a little forward to the front of your mat. Enjoy length in the back body. Good. And from here, let's step forward and have your blocks under your hands, even if you don't normally, and walk them out in front of you here. So kind of way out in front of you and be at least maybe lowest or second height, maybe not highest height, so you have a bit of an angle there. And then shift your hips just a little bit so you can lift both your heels up. So both your heels are up and you're onto the balls of the feet. Look and make sure you're not rolling to the pinky side of the foot. Your heels are directly up. And then lower your right heel down and that right leg comes straight and you're still really working into that left foot. And then lift that right heel up. Both heels are up and you're going to switch. So all we're doing is just walking, but with our torso elongated out and forward a little bit, getting a little more into the feet and the backs of the legs. So take your time. Let yourself just enjoy a little bit more of a walk to wake up the feet. You can look at your feet, and again, make sure that heel comes directly up so you're not rolling to the pinky toe side of the foot, which can be very tempting here. And then finish off so that you have both heels now back down to the floor. Shift your way back into your standing forward bend, wherever you want your support to be or your hands to be, right? So you may decide you want to release your hands down. You might want to keep your hands on the blocks. You might want to put your elbows above your knees. Feel the weight here now of your head, the release. Let your head move around a little bit if that helps you release your neck, and feel the weight of your head. Sitting bones over your heels. One more nice full deep breath. And then as we bring our hands up to our hips, we're going to press into our feet and rise up to standing. And inhale our arms out and up overhead. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. Now, unfold your arms and reach down and get a block. I haven't done this in a long time, actually. And bring a block so it's narrowest height, narrowest width, right? It's going to be above your knees, right? So that you can let yourself have the block between your thighs and look at your toes and try to get parallel. And you're probably a little bit wider than you usually are in your mountain, right? But just enjoy now. Feel the feet equal in the floor. Feel yourself squeezing into the block a little bit so that instead of, the idea is that you want to imagine almost like you're feeding the block backward, which will keep you from tucking your pelvis, right? Tucking your tailbone up under yourself. So press into the block really easily. Bring your hands to your heart. Feel yourself shift around if you need to find your mountain pose here now. Now don't squeeze really hard. Just be aware of feeling that sense of the inner thighs kind of melting back behind you. Your knees can be a little bent here. If that feels better, don't lock your knees. And just come into your mountain pose. Enjoy. It actually, in a way, enables you to feel even more equal between your feet, up through your legs into your hips. Feeling your hips over your ankles, shoulders over your hips. Good. We're going to release our arms on down beside us here now and inhale our arms all the way out into mountain with arms overhead. You can be wide or you can bring your hands more overhead. See if you can, again, feel the block. Squeeze a little bit. Imagine your inner thighs are melting back a little bit. You can look up if you choose. One more inhale. And on the exhale, bend your knees. As you come forward, take the block out, right? Let yourself come into your standing forward bend. And on your next inhale, find a nice long back. Lengthen into your spine here. And we're going to step the right foot back and come into lunge. And inhale, exhale into your downward facing dog pose. So take your time, walk a little bit if you need to, let yourself do whatever movement helps you get into your dog. Spread your fingers nice and wide, just like you did when we were doing that quarter dog. Feel your elbows hugging inward. Think of the back of your head being in line with your spine. Good. And on the next inhale, let's come on out towards a plank. Engage your belly. Really feel the belly working, reaching your sitting bones down towards your heels. And then bend your elbows a tiny little bit, like they're coming inward a bit. Don't go very far down. And then press into longer arms again. And now do that again, but this time imagine you're drawing yourself towards the front of your mat as you bend your elbows a little bit. And then come back again into nice long arms. Now we're going to lower down. Now you can put your knees down first if you want. Coming down, elbows right by the ribs. And then let yourself from here release your arms down long alongside the body. Turn your palms down. And then come up to your fingertips and the tips of your thumbs. And when you inhale, float your head and your legs a little bit up off the floor and your chest. Coming into a little locust. And then come on back down. And now bring your hands onto your low back and clasp your hands. Like we did in warm-up, right? And then when you inhale, float into that locust again. And if you want to lift your hands a little bit up off you, you can. You don't have to. And then we're going to release back down again. Bring your hands by your chest. And we're going to make our way back into down dog from here. Whether you move through a half or a full push-up or back to your hands and knees and then into your dog. And now walk your dog real slowly. Feeling those feet, feeling the backs of the legs. Good. And then come on back to full dog, and we'll bring the right foot forward to come into lunge. And you know you can put your left knee down if you need to get it there. And then we'll come on back into standing forward bend. And go right to your breaths. Keeping your awareness all the way through. If you are familiar with Ujjayi breathing, and that helps you really coming into any pose, obviously, throughout class, breathing through the throat, that kind of feeling of the breath coming through the throat. And then from here, we'll bring our hands back to our hips, bend our knees. We're going to rise on up to standing and inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. And let's release to inhale the hands right up through the midline. And on the exhale, open the arms like wings as we fold forward. Let your next inhale help you find that flat back. Does not matter where your hands go. And we're going to step the left foot back to come into lunge. And inhale. Exhale into your downward facing dog pose. Good. Let's inhale our way out to plank. Take your time here now again, really strong. Engage your belly. See if you can bend your elbows a little bit again. And then come back into long arms. And then we're going to lower down. Again, knees first if you need. Elbows right by the ribs. Now let's come onto our forearms this time. Elbows underneath the shoulders, into Sphinx. Spread your fingers nice and wide if you can. Feel all of your fingers on the floor and your thumbs. It's almost like you're reaching for an octave on a piano. In other words, you're really spreading your hands wide here. Good. One more breath. And now come halfway down to the ground. Slide your hands back by your chest. Hug your elbows inward and down towards your waist a little bit. And then see if that hugging down with the elbows lifts you up. Not pressing into your hands yet, just feeling your cobra pose here. And then if you feel like you want to press into the hands and rise up higher, you can. Elbows hugging in towards the ribs. Bringing your gaze more forward. Try not to tense up your neck. And then we'll release to come on back down. And we'll make our way back into down dog from here. Come into your breath in your dog. And we will bring our left foot forward to find lunge. And then we'll come on back into standing forward bend. So if you're okay to hold your elbows, go ahead and let that extra weight happen there. If you know that's not good for your back, don't do it. Use support. Feel your face relaxing now. Smoothing across your forehead. Releasing all around your eyes, all around your mouth. And then letting your hands come on up to your hips. We'll bend our knees and rise on up. And inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. Take a couple of breaths here in mountain pose. Imagine you have that block between your thighs again. So you're thinking of that action of inner thighs releasing backward a little bit. And then we'll unfold our arms back down beside us. Inhale both arms all the way out and up. Clasp your hands up there. Turn your palms upward towards the ceiling. If you can look up, do. If it's too much, don't do it. One more inhale. And on the exhale, release your hands. Come on forward into your standing forward bend. Let your inhale, next inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, right foot back to lunge as we move with our breath. Inhale. Exhale into your down dog. Let your inhale bring you to plank. And your exhale lower you down. And your inhale bring you into cobra. Exhale back to down dog. Inhale. Exhale right foot forward to lunge. And inhale. Exhale to your standing forward bend. Bend the knees rising all the way to the top. And on the exhale we'll come forward again. We'll let your inhale lengthen your spine. Exhale left foot back to lunge. Inhale. Exhale downward dog. Inhaling out to that plank. The exhale lowers us down. And we inhale into that cobra. Exhale back to down dog. Inhale. Exhale left foot forward to lunge. And inhale. Exhale to your standing forward bend. Bend the knees, rising up again all the way to the top. And on the exhale, we'll fold forward. Inhale into your long back. And we're going to come to down dog, whether you jump or walk your way back. Find your dog, walk a little bit, wag your tail around. If you need to look at your hands to make sure they're even on the mat, think of your pointer fingers being parallel. Take your time, come into your breath again. Let your breath settle down. Good. From here, we're going to bring the left foot forward. And we're coming up for warrior two. So as you rise on up, take your time to get that front knee bent right out over the center of the foot. Bring your hands on up, arms on straight out from your shoulders, bringing your gaze out over the top of that left hand. And soften the tops of your shoulders down here now. See if you can let your left heel rise a little bit up off the floor. Imagine releasing the outer left hip down a little bit. Go ahead and lower the heel back down. Feel the feet pressing gently away from each other. Good. Let's turn the left palm up. Let your right hand come onto your right thigh back there and then slide that right hand down. And as it slides down, depends on you how far back you go with your left hand. One more breath. And on the exhale, we're going to come into side angle. So your left hand or forearm can come onto your thigh. Swing the right arm up in front of your chest and then up into line with the right side of your body. And if that bothers your shoulder, don't do it. And then bend your right elbow if you can. Put your hand behind your head. So you can kind of feel the head coming into your hand a bit. If you want to try to turn to look up, you can support your head a little bit because you have your hand there to rest on a little. And then see if you can extend the arm long again, still looking up if you can. One more breath. And then we're going to come on back into warrior two, pressing the feet away from each other as we come. And now let your hands come down. We're going to turn our feet more parallel. So you may have to adjust your stance here, how wide you are. Feet as parallel as possible. Come on forward. Grab your blocks if you want them. You know that. And let your hands walk out and out like you're doing a down dog. Let your hands be a little wider apart than you would be in your down dog. And then just go ahead and melt your chest down a little bit here. And breathe. Knees can be bent. Knees can be straighter. That's up to you. And then walk your hands on back, whether you need to use blocks under your hands or forearms and keep a long back, or maybe you want to keep walking your hands back more towards between your feet. And find what's okay for your own back. Take your time. Come into your breath. Good, and then walk your hands out enough to where you can bend your right knee and walk your hands over to the right a little bit, or shift your block a little to the right, right? Just so you're coming out a little bit over that the bent knee here, over your thigh. Now keep that right knee bent, but walk your hands back through center, and see about walking your hands more over towards the left. Right knee is still bent. Get a little more into that left leg here. And now come back into center with the hands, let the legs come both equal, and then bend your left knee a little bit. And walk your hands to the left, so you're going towards the bent knee side. Stay there for a breath. And then keep that left knee bent as you walk back through center and come over towards the right. Only as far as you want to go. Good. And then come back to center, everything's centered. Bend your knees a little bit, and then rotate your heels forward so your feet are turned out a bit here. And let your right knee bend. If you can, lift your left foot off the floor, but stay on your heel. And then if you want to go lower, you can put your left hand behind you and shift your hips down. Excuse me. So that's up to you. You don't have to go low. And then come on back up. We're going to shift to the left, bend the left knee. See if you can pick the right foot up with the right heel on the floor. And then again, if you want to descend your hips down, you want to put your hand back there to give you support. Good, and then come on back. We're going to turn our toes back forward. Press your feet away from each other, like you're trying to make your mat longer with your feet. And then come up enough to walk back over to your left foot. Come back into lunge. And we're going to make our way back into down dog. Now, let's all come out for plank. And you choose here. Do you want to come down to the floor and come up into a back bend of choice? Or would you like to sink your hips down and come through for your up dog without bending your elbows? You get to pick. And then we'll make our way back into down dog. And then let's again come on out to plank. This time come into three-legged plank. Lift up your right foot a little bit off the floor. And then put it down. Lift up your left foot a little bit off the floor. And then put it down, and then come on back into down dog. Good. From here, we're going to bring the right foot forward and come into our warrior two on the other side. So line up your heels. Take your time. Get yourself real easy. That alignment of that front knee. And then when you bring your arms on up and out, let it feel so easy to have your arms out there. And if your shoulders are saying, this is not easy, right? Kind of shrug a little bit if you need to, and then feel that sense of the arms growing out of your back instead of tensing up the tops of your shoulders. Feel the feet in the floor as you rise that right heel up a little bit. Imagine the outer right hip dropping down a little bit. Your knee is way lined up now with that heel up. And let the heel softly come on back down. Press the feet away from each other like you're trying to lengthen your mat. And then from here, bring your left hand down. Turn your right palm up. Slide that left hand down further. Let yourself come as far back into reverse warrior as you choose. And on your next exhale, come into that side angle. So again, hand or forearm onto the thigh, letting the left arm just easily come on up into line with the left side of the body. Pinky turning down a little bit. And once you've established the length through both sides of the body, bend that left elbow and put your hand behind your head. And if you want to support a little bit to look up a tiny bit towards the ceiling, or as much as you want, towards your elbow if you choose. And then when you extend the arm long, keep looking wherever you're looking right now. Nice. And now look down at the floor. And then start to rise on up into your warrior two, pressing the feet away from each other. Nice. We're going to turn our feet more parallel. We're going to bring our hands behind us this time. Clasp your hands and bend your knees and come forward. Now, if you need to stop. Yeah. You don't have to even get parallel to the floor unless you want. But of course, some of you will want to keep going and fold all the way down towards between your legs. I know that. Some won't. And if you're all right to bring your arms off your back, do it. Letting your arms release to where your shoulders allow you to. And breathe. And then if the hands are off the back, go ahead and release them back towards the back, and then release your hands down towards blocks of the floor if they're still up there. And go ahead and bend a knee at a time now. Let yourself move however you want, actually. So let your body take over to do what it needs, so that you can really find a place in this pose where you are very comfortable allowing your upper body to let go. And that might mean you'd rather stack blocks up, put them underneath your forearms. Might mean you'd rather put your head on a block. You might want to walk your hands behind you or hold on to your own ankles. So give your body time to adjust where you're the most easy to be in the pose. And then let your breaths come in full and deep if you can. Both your inhales and exhales. Staying soft through your face, letting go of your jaw. Good. One more nice, full, deep breath. And then as we walk our hands back out, we're going to walk back to our right foot, come on back into lunge, and then make our way back into downward facing dog pose. So from here, take your time. You want to do vinyasas or kriyas, go for it. If you'd rather put your knees down and rest, put your knees down. Come into child's pose. If you'd rather stay in dog, stay in down dog, do. Pay attention to what your own body is kind of craving you doing right now. Good. And then we're going to meet back in downward facing dog pose. And we're going to lift our left foot up. So you might have to adjust your right foot a little bit to support you. Left foot up into three-legged dog. Let the toes face down. Press back equally out of your hands. And then bend your left knee a little bit and open the hips so that you think of stacking your left hip on top of your right. One more breath. Let the right heel descend down. Get the most out of the back of the leg there. And then turn the knee back down. Stretch the leg long back into your hip square. And we're going to bring the left foot forward. We're coming up for Warrior One. You do want both your blocks handy here. So take your time. Rise up into your Warrior One, bringing your hands to your heart. If you need to adjust the alignment of that back foot, by all means do. Or if you need to adjust the length of your stance, right? Feel the feet in the floor, arches lifting up. Good, and then bring the hands like we did at the beginning. Inhale your hands up as high as you want your arms and hands to go. And when you exhale, let them come back down so they're right in front of the chest. So the hands stay together as they inhale up through the midline. And as you exhale, they come back down. And one more time. Inhale, the hands up now. Once you're up there, bend your elbows, bring your hands clasped behind your head. Hug your elbows in for a second towards your face. And then press the back of your head into your hands as your elbows rise up. So just release here. Let it feel really good. You're holding that weight of that heavy head. Now, you can experiment with opening your elbows wide. See if that feels better or not. Enjoy that uplift in the front of the body. And then bring the head on back up. Unfold your arms on down beside you. Bring your hands behind you. Now, if you can hold elbows or wrists or hands, it's fine. Straighten that front knee out. Draw that right hip pointer around to square your hips. And then we're going to come on forward for pyramid pose. Feel the thighs lifting up towards the hips. If you want to do reverse warrior, hands back here, reverse prayer hands, you can. Let yourself be easy, mindful, only go as far as you can. Feel the thighs engaging up towards the hips, belly engaging. And then when you're ready to lower your hands on down, you can use the blocks, you can use the floor, that's up to you. Feel your thighs engaging up. Readjust your stance lengthwise if you need to. And if you feel like folding over that front leg, by all means do. Be with your breath. It's fine to keep a long back. Your legs are still really your legs and hips are just going crazy here. But, also, this is an amazing pose. In lots of ways. One more breath. And then come out more parallel to the floor and get your blocks under your hands. Go ahead and come to your highest height of your blocks, just for fun. Release your right heel back so you're in a lunge now. And then we're going to launch forward and let ourselves come up into Warrior 3 with the right toes facing down towards the ground. Right away, bend both your knees. Bring your knees side by side. Your right knee comes by your left. Get yourself really lined up. And let that left supporting leg be just where you know it is the best for you. And then go ahead and stretch back into that Warrior 3. And take your time. If you can reach the left arm forward, do. If any of you want to work at bringing both your hands up and coming into balance, do. So just be mindful. Feel the pinky toe of the right foot facing down. Good. One more breath. And now we're going to reach back into lunge. So as gracefully as you can, bring your blocks back. Bring that right foot back down to the floor. Find your lunge. And we're going to come on back into down dog. Again, knees down if you'd rather. Vinyasas or kriyas if you want. So take your time. Let yourself do what your body needs you to do. Good. And then we'll finish off to meet back in down dog. And this time we're going to bring the right foot up in the air. Three-legged dog. Toes face down. Take your time. Press evenly out of your hands. Elbows hug inward. Bend that right knee a little bit. And then open the hip. So just easily feel that sense almost of the right hip stacking on top of the left. And then turn the knee back down and reach out to that long now three-legged dog. Let your left heel descend down towards the mat. And we're going to bring that right foot forward. And we're coming up, remember, for Warrior 1. Again, you want your blocks handy. Bring yourself on into hands to the heart and really adjust the feet, right? Especially that back foot. I mean, it's the front foot too. So, how wide your stance is, how long, feeling that back foot fully in the floor, feeling your arches lifting up. Enjoy squaring those shoulders off to the front of your mat. And now with your breath, inhaling the hands up through the midline. And on the exhale, they come back down in front of your chest. So inhaling, letting the hands rise up, only as high as your shoulders want you to go. And on the exhale, they'll come back down again. And now inhaling, the hands right on up there again. This time, clasp your hands, bring them in behind your head so your elbows are bent. Hug your elbows in towards your face a little. And then feel that lift of the elbows up. You're supporting your head. Maybe even feeling like you're pressing gently the back of the head into your hands. Not harshly, though. Let it feel good. Now, if you want to experiment with opening your elbows out to the side, you can. If that feels worse in your shoulders, don't do it. Opening the heart here. Really feel like you're breathing in and out through your heart, actually. And then bringing the gaze forward, we're going to unfold our arms. We're going to straighten the front leg out and bring our hands behind us. Again, reverse namaste hands if you want. Hold your elbows, your wrists, hands, whatever works for you. As you start to come forward, thighs engage up. You may only want to come 2 inches. All right, so with your arms back like this, keep the length of the spine. Try to feel equal through the sides of the body. Feel those thighs lifting upward the whole time. And then when you're ready to put your hands down, again, you use any support you want under your hands. If you need to adjust your stance a little bit, do. Keep pulling those thighs up if you can, like you're creating space in your knees. And if you want to fold over that front leg, you do. If not, don't. Stay with that long back. One more breath. Now lengthen your spine out again. Come up to the highest height on your blocks. And we'll bend the front knee, reach that left heel back to find your full lunge. And then it's like as you send your blocks out forward and you launch yourself up, it's so easy just to float up onto that right leg. Turn the pinky toe down on the left foot. And then bend both your knees. Bring your left knee in beside your right one for a second. Really get stable on that right supporting leg. And then extend both legs long. Now you've got the left toes facing down, warrior 3. If you want to release your right arm forward, or if you want to practice bringing both hands up to your heart, or reaching both arms forward, do. And then we're going to release to bring our hands down if they were up. And now again, gracefully moving back towards your lunge. Reaching back with that foot. It's kind of fun to try to control it. And then we'll come on back into down dog. And you are totally on your own. Last vinyasas, if you want to do any, or kriyas. You know, if your shoulders are saying, hey, no way, listen to your shoulders. Take your time. Beautiful. And then we'll finish off. Meet back in down dog. And from here, bend your knees really deeply. Think about your belly coming onto your thighs. And you can come forward however you want, jumping or walking or stepping up your way into your standing forward bend. Nice full breaths. Let your head be heavy. Let your face be soft. So if you can, kind of let go of any efforting. Let everything feel effortless, really. And then as we rise up, let your arms be like wings as you press into your feet. Come on up, inhaling the arms up overhead. And on your exhale, let your hands come on down in front of your chest, in front of your heart. And if you need to sway a little bit in your mountain pose to find your way, do. Eyes can be opened or closed. Really finding that sense of ease in the back of your throat, your neck. Enjoying all the energy flowing through your body in your mountain pose. And as we unfold our arms on down beside us, shake everything out a little bit, move around if you need. We are going to pull our mats into a wall. So, come on in, short edge of your mat into the wall. And at first, we're just going to do a little bit of shoulder. We're going to bring ourselves to face the wall and stretch our right arm straight out from our shoulder onto our fingertips at the wall here. And just put your left hand either behind you on your low back or on your hip, doesn't matter. And then for a second, put your forehead to the wall. Let yourself release there. And then start to press into the right fingertips and tips of your thumbs on the wall. Imagine you're pressing in, maybe even trying to drag downward, but it's isometric, right? And then start to turn your body to the left. Your feet turn, your hips turn, your head turns. How far you go with this is totally up to you and your shoulder. Don't overdo. Take a breath there, pressing in. And then come up about 10 inches with the hand. Go up a little higher and keep pressing in. Imagine again you're kind of dragging down a little bit. If it's too much, don't do it. Now come up a little bit higher. You're not all the way up overhead yet. Almost halfway kind of between where you were and there. And now turn the whole right side of your body to the wall so the arm is directly up over your shoulder and you're on your fingertips still. And imagine you're holding onto a bar and you're hanging. Let your shoulder come down away from your ears. Press into the wall there with your fingertips. And then we're going to turn back to face the wall. Lower that arm down as you come to face the wall, all the way down beside you. And then bring your left arm out. Put your forehead in the wall. Put the tips of your fingers and thumb of your left hand into the wall. And start to press into the wall. And imagine you're kind of dragging downward a little bit too. Put your right hand either on your hip or behind you. And start to lift your head off the wall and turn away from that arm. So as you start to turn, you know how far you go because you'll know when to stop. Yeah? Press in, drag down a little bit. And then see if you can go up a few inches, 8 to 10 inches. Press in again and drag down again. Let yourself engage into the shoulder, but again, don't do anything that hurts. If you can come up a little bit more, you're not all the way up yet. Keep pressing into the wall now. And then that last is to come all the way to turn onto your left side of the wall, and you're on your tips of your fingers and your thumbs. And imagine you're holding onto a bar and you're hanging. Let your shoulder, though, release down from your ear. Nice. And then turn your back to the wall. Bring both arms down here. And we're going to come right on down to the floor. Put our toes back onto the wall. And let ourselves come into child's pose with arms overhead. So let yourself release. Spread your fingers a little bit. Hug your elbows in towards each other in your child's pose. So you're actually not releasing the arms like usual. You're engaging a little bit. And breathe into your low back. You know if you have to be somewhat forward, be somewhat forward. Good. And on the next inhale, we'll come up to all fours. And we're going to make our way into down dog with our heels up the wall. Now, if you know your wrists are just not having any of this today, go back down and go to your forearms if you'd rather, okay? If you're all right to be in your dog, bend your knees if you need to. Reach really back towards the wall. And then you can decide whether you want to lift one foot up the wall with the toes curl under, letting yourself be in that three-legged dog. Or, and of course, switching legs if you want, or of course, resting if you choose. So be where you can. This is your inversion playtime, right? So if you like to walk up the wall with both feet, if you feel like you want to be closer to the wall than you were and you want to walk up with both feet, you can, you know that. Playing towards handstand if you choose, or letting yourself come onto your forearms and playing a little bit in your dolphin pose, or coming towards forearm stand. Okay? So take your time. Rest whenever you need to, whether you rest in child's pose or you want to rest sitting up. You know that. Good. Take care of your wrists. If you were up there on your hands, you can circle around a little bit. You can encircle one hand, one wrist with your other hand if that feels good, and open and close your hands. Nice. And then take your time. We are going to make our way into a pigeon pose. So when you do come up, let's bring our right knee forward. I'm going to turn my mat again so bring your right knee forward and let yourself angle that right knee towards the front corner of your mat, right? And let the top of the back toes be on the floor. You can, if you want to go up higher, you can have blocks under your hands if you want, and kind of really get yourself set there to where you hug your elbows in, you look forward, maybe even up a little bit, and you can really get deeply into the front of that left hip. But if that's too much for you, don't do it. Hands can be on the floor. My arms just feel too short, so I like to use the block. So just take your time. One more breath here. And then when you start to make your way forward, be really mindful. Remember, you can have a blanket underneath that bent right side, underneath your hip there to even you out if you don't feel even. You can lay your head down onto the floor. You can put like a pillow with your hands. You can use your blocks if you choose. Good. Breathing into your low back. Now, if any of you want to add a little twist here, with your right knee forward, you could thread the needle with your left arm. Bring yourself down there. And if that's too much, don't do it. You can either put your right hand up behind you on your back, or you can put it over towards your right foot there if you choose. So just be mindful. Don't do this twist part. If it's too much, you put the pressure in the knee. Nice. Breathing into the low back. Good. One more breath. And now, to come up, you decide from here whether when we switch legs, what you need to do between sides. So you can come back into child's pose, you can go into down dog if you want, you can do anything that feels good. So that when you do bring that left knee forward towards the front corner of your mat, and you think about pressing the top of that right foot into the floor back there. Remember your left heel is kind of in towards your right hip pointer bone. See if you can rise up even for a little bit, even if you just have your hands on the floor, right? Or if you like the blocks because you like to come a little bit higher, you can. But just enjoy feeling that openness through the right side of the hip. And when you do start to make your way forward, again, if you need a blanket underneath that left hip, once you come down, pressing the top of the foot into the mat gently. And imagine for a second that you're drawing your hip pointer bones towards each other. And then kind of let go of that. Press a little bit into the top of the right toes. And then bring your awareness to your breath. Those of you who want to add that twist can thread the needle with your right arm coming under and come down onto the right side of your head. Now, you can put the left hand up on your back if you want. You can wrap it around if you want, reaching for your left foot. This is up to you. You know, don't even do this twist if it's too much. You can even stretch the arm just up overhead too. Receiving those full breaths in and out. Now, if you were in that twist, come on back into center. We're all going to head up, but shift onto that left hip and start to extend your legs out now into a wide angle. Grab a blanket if you need to sit up on a blanket, right? And if you don't like your heels on the floor, you can sit back off of your mat, and you know, the feet, how far apart your feet are has to do with how your hips are built. So you want to be able to sit up nice and tall, lengthening up through the top of your head, so you don't feel this sense of the tailbones tucking forward under you and you're rounding your back, right? And then come forward just a little bit. Now you can go as far forward as you want. Depending on how you're built, you may want to keep your hands on your legs. If your feet are closer together, you might want to reach for your toes. Or if you feel really good to fold further forward between your legs, by all means do it. You can use blocks underneath your head, underneath your forearms. Just take your time, let yourself be mindful of feeling your legs, your hips, and think of your toes and your knees facing up so that you're not rolling your feet forward or backward. Good. So one more breath here. And then we're going to slowly work our way on back up. And we'll bring our legs together. So as you do, be mindful. We're going to come around and down onto our backs on our mat. And maybe have your blocks handy in case you want them. And you can roll down if you want. You know, if you like to work a little bit, you can roll down through the spine if that feels good to you, to kind of imagine sequentially rolling down one vertebrae at a time. Once you do get down there, bring your right knee on into your chest, extend your left leg long. Flex your feet, press your right leg gently into your hand. And then extend your right arm out beside you, and actually extend your left arm out beside you too. Both arms are out from your shoulders. And then start to bring the right knee over to the left. So you can decide, you know, you can release right here just to put your foot on a block if you want, if you have it there. You can stretch your leg long. Some of you might want to shift a little more onto your left side of your hip and reach your right foot into your left hand. That is a very deep twist, but if it feels good, you can go that far. If not, keep the knee bent or keep the leg straight with the leg reaching just over as far as you want to go. And then come on back into center. Go ahead and shift back to your back if you shifted to your side more. And then we'll bring our left knee in. Hold on to your left knee with your hands and extend your right leg down long. Flex through both your feet. Feel that left leg coming gently into your hands so you find that natural curve in your back there. Try not to let your chin rise up. And then stretching the arms out, straight out from your shoulders. Palms can be up or down, whatever feels best for you. And then bring that knee across the body so you're coming again either into letting the knee stay bent or coming into a longer leg if you choose to. If you want to reach that foot towards your hand, do. Good. And then as you head on back into center with that knee, bring both knees on in and go on into a little happy baby pose if you can. Or maybe you prefer a Baddha Konasana, that's fine. Whatever feels the best for your hips, for your back. If you want to do a plow pose, do a plow pose. If there's something that your body right now craves to do, it doesn't have to be a yoga pose. It can be any kind of movement you want. Just stretching if you want to just stretch. Just take your time. Give your body a little bit of time here to kind of get any kinks out that you might be feeling. You need to do a bridge pose, do it, right? an upward facing bow pose, anything. Be mindful as you allow yourself to give your body time. Thank you. And no rush. If people here that are in the studio start to get ready and need a bit of support for Shavasana, if you need a bolster, please let me know, or blankets. Remember, I wash everything.
Blanket.
You want a blanket?
Got mine to get out to wash it.
So wave at me if the idea of some support sounds good. And feel free to move your arms, your legs a little bit if you need to get more comfortable in your shoulders and your hips. Feel that ease of being supported by the ground. Appreciate gravity's holding you down there. And then just breathe. That's all you need to do. Watch your own breath. Coming in and going out, and your breath will start to become quieter, maybe more shallow. When you come back to it again, you might need to breathe in a little deeper, and then just keep cycling that way, right? We're never going to quiet our minds entirely. But just finding those little quiet places gives you time to benefit from all you just did. So just allow yourself to completely and fully relax. forcing, just receiving your breaths in a little deeper, letting your exhales extend out a little longer. Letting those deeper breaths bring you back into wanting to feel physical, wanting to move again. Fingers and toes, moving as you're ready into your hands, your feet. If circling your hands and feet around feels good, to come into the arms and legs. Just take your time. You may even want to let your head roll a little side to side. Be easy as you come back to gently moving again. You know you're welcome to roll to either side. If you're okay to do that, you can come into a soft fetal position on your side, maybe even using your arm as a pillow if that helps you rest more comfortably on your side. But just be easy. When you do feel like you're okay to rise up to sitting, again, find that kind of effortless feeling if you can, so that it's like you're just easing your way, floating your way up to sitting, however is comfortable for your hips. Having your eyes closed, being with your breath. And then gently letting your hands come to meet in front of your chest. And wishing each one of you a very joyful day. Namaste.